Just got a bearing seal driver set in the mail from Amazon, and I figured I would take a moment to actually do a race install for you on the front hubs. There's another video out there by Blue Hands that's actually a better video. It's a lot more thorough in description. I'm just going to go ahead and just do this. I already did one hub and turned out okay, so hopefully I don't embarrass myself too much in front of the camera here. So let's get started. I got everything set up in here right now. So let me flip this camera around. Alright, so we got a hub here. This is a two-wheel drive hard-body hub. It's not too different than a four-wheel drive hub, except for there's less guts inside of it. But what I'm going to do is set the camera down and actually show you how I did it. This is the first one I did. As you can see, I've got the inner race already slammed in there. There's the outer race, that's already in there. And the set I'm using is this guy right here, which is, I just watched Blue Hand's video, and he showed it pretty much exactly how I'm going to show it. You get these different dies. They're two-sided. One is good for driving in a seal without damaging the lip. The other side is for driving in the race without damaging anything. And it's aluminum, which that seems to be par for the course on all of these. These are the two sizes I'm using today. This one is for the inner bearing race. And basically, once you get it lined up and straight, you just take a hammer, ball peen hammer here, and you just tap it in using this, and then you just listen for it. You'll hear the sound of it change as soon as it bottoms out. So let me find a good spot to set this camera up, because I'm going to be putting this hub in the vise over here. It's my homemade vise. It's got a wheel, camshaft from a International DT 466. The cam gear is down in there. I just welded the two together and then I put a plate on it, and there's the vise. So let me find a decent spot here to set this up so we can actually see what's going on, and then I will get to tapping here. Not a hell of a lot of room in here to work with, because I got too much stuff going on. I got my NV 3500 transmission sitting there and a whole bunch of other garbage. Very bad connection. Well, unfortunately, that's going to have to be the case. Alright, so I'm going to set it up here so we can actually see. I'm going to try and not stand in the way. Alright. Since I'm a giner, I need gloves. Plus it's a little chilly out here today. So, yeah. So, let's start with the inner hub. This is going to be the inner hub. Inner hub. Let's start with the inner race. And what I'm using today is, I went with Timken, because Timken is a good brand. We use Timkens in a lot of the heavy trucks that we service in the shop, and it's an OEM. I know that Nissan uses Timken, because this green truck over here has got Timken bearings in it. Let me just take the race out here. Bear with me here. I don't want to get too much gunk in the actual bearing itself, so I'm taking the races out. This is your bearing race right here. It's pretty simple. It's going to be tapered on the inside and flat on the outside. And the sets that we're using today is Timken set 5. It's a set 5 for the inners, and then we're using a Timken set 3 for the outer bearings. So if you guys order 5s and 3s, you'll get everything you need there. And then wheel seals, we're using a Federal Mogul National Seal 710073. That will be what you need there. And so let's begin. I'm going to straddle this so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start with actually taking the race and setting it right here, making sure that I get it as flat as I can. I want to give it as good start as I can. So I'm just going to check and make sure that she's flush. And then seal driver right here. It's all set up. See, I've got the smaller end facing outward. This is reversible for if I do the wheel seal, but we're going to use this. We don't want it to fit too snugly. I've got a little bit of play in it right here. It's going to fit inside without getting stuck. And we're live, so hopefully this goes well. Because I have a tendency to have some bad luck over here sometimes. So here we go. There it is. One race has been installed. Alright, so I'm going to flip this over. We're going to do the other side. We're going to do the outer. You don't have to really honk on the vise. You could probably do this on the floor too, but I figured a vise is a good way to get it up off the ground. So, in order to change heads on this, you just undo this bolt. That comes out. Don't lose it. Sorry about the sniffles. It's still like 30 degrees out today, and even though it's manageable, it's still cold. I really don't feel like doing too much out here today. So I'm changing to the smaller face here on this thing. Of course, I'm putting the narrow end on the outside. So that looks like that. And then I'm not even going to really, torque it that much. It's just going to be this. And let's see. I'm going to open up another box here of set 3s. So let's open this. When you open it up, you're going to want to be careful because it's going to want to jump out of the package at you. All I want is to pluck the bearing race out. This is the race. So we're going to put the bearing back in the plastic bag here so it does not get contaminated with garbage and grease and garbage. I said garbage twice there. We don't want twice the garbage. Alright, so I'm going to take basically this guy right here is going to go like that. So the race is going to sit in on top of this. There's a little bit of play. There's like a 1/16 of an inch of play here. So that way it slides off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the race itself. I'm going to set it up and try and get it as flat as possible here. That's pretty good. The first one I did got a little lopsided and I had to tap it back out using a driver there. That's probably because I was using too much of a weak hammer here. So what I'm going to do, here's what we're going to do. That's the setup right there. So now it's just a matter of just tapping her in until she bottoms out. There you have it. She's in there. That's all there is to that. So if we take a look here, the race is now inside. Looking pretty good. And then we got the outer race. Or I'm sorry, this is the inner race. That's the outer race. And really then from that point, it's just a matter of packing the bearings and pack them with grease really good, and then set them in there, get everything set up, and then you're going to snug the spindle nut down, snug it, and then you're going to back it off like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of a turn, and then put a cotter pin in there to keep it from backing off. So that concludes installing the bearing races. Because the inner bearings, I'm going to flip this camera around on you guys, sorry. Let me get my face out of here. Because the inner bearings and races can be set up off the truck, I could go ahead and pack this bearing today and set it in there and then put the grease seal in if I'm feeling peppy. My only problem is that I think I left my wheel grease over at my buddy's shop where the red truck is sitting right now, so I might not be able to get to that. Yeah, that looks alright. That's fine. So, do you guys have any questions about what I just did? If you guys got any questions, you can ask right now, or you can email me at nissanrallycrosstruck@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, which is at Nissan Autocross Truck, and then of course I've got the Instagram, which is Rainmaker D21. I'm sorry, let me reverse that. Rainmaker _ D21. I post a lot of pictures of the stuff I've been doing to this truck. So for those of you who are just tuning in, I just popped in the inner and outer bearing races into these front hubs using this seal and bearing race driver set that I just got from Amazon. Actually, guy just dropped it off this morning. Sunday delivery. Gotta love Amazon sometimes. This was 28 bucks shipped. And in case you guys are curious as to what it is, this is it. It's the Hardbody Now. Hardbody Now bearing and race seal and driver set. Covers a variety of different sizes, and it comes with the driver. This is all aluminum. It shouldn't damage your steel races and bearings, but then again, it all depends on how abusive you are. To answer your question about what you're going to need to do the bearings and races and seals, you're going to need, obviously, inner and outer bearings. This is an outer bearing set. This is a Timken set 3. This includes the race and the bearing itself. You're going to want an inner bearing, which is a set 5. This is a race and bearing included. You can go with any company you want. Basically, a set 5 is a set 5 no matter if it's an SKF or it's a National or whatnot. I just went with Timken because Timken is an OEM. I have a lot of experience with Timken through my own job selling parts on these heavy-duty trucks, so a lot of them use the Timken sets. So I went with, you're going to need 2 outer bearings, which are these. You're going to need 2 inner bearings, which are these. So I got set 5. Set 3, you're going to need 2 wheel seals. I went with National Federal Mogul 710073. This, of course, is for a 2-wheel drive hub. I do not have any of the part numbers for a 4-wheel drive because I'm not really doing that at this moment. But what I usually do is I use Rock Auto to look up the part numbers, and then either if Rock Auto is cheaper than Amazon, I buy them off of Rock Auto. Sometimes vice versa. You know, you never know what you're going to get until you actually plug the part numbers in. I think this whole setup is from Rock Auto. I'd have to go through my receipts. I bought so much stuff in such a short time period that I can't really remember. This seal kit or seal driver kit, which is the handle plus the drivers themselves, was $28 delivered on a Sunday from Amazon. And as you can see, it did what it was supposed to do. And it helps to have a vise to be able to hold this in position so it doesn't dance all over the place while you're pounding on it with the hammer, but it's not a requirement. I've seen people just do them right on the bench. More thorough information could be found Blue Hands videos. He does a lot of this kind of stuff, and he has a great video that I actually watched before I attempted this, because I wanted to make sure that I was not getting into something where I was going to need some kind of press, anything like that. So Blue Hands video, check him out if you want a more thorough explanation of this. I just went ahead and just grilled them in there, and they're done. So we're at the next phase where the next thing I can do is pack the inner bearings with grease, and then pop those in there, cycle them around a little bit to get the grease flowing, and then I can take the wheel seal and just tap the wheel seal in, and that's where this comes in handy. This thing, if you flip this over and use the other side, this side of it, it actually works as a seal driver. So you got the race driver, which is the more narrow end, and then you got the seal end of it too. So you just take this bolt out and then flip it over, whichever you're doing. Just find the right one that fits the seal that you're dealing with. And as you can see by this set, this includes a variety of different sizes, all the way up to some giant ones here, all the way down to little dinky guys. So this will actually, if you buy this set, which is 28 bucks, what I paid for it on Amazon, you probably be able to do more than just If I flip the phone, will it go to widescreen? I could try. Let's see here. It says rotate device. Nope, it won't do it. I don't have it set up that way right now. Let me get back to this. Yeah, sorry. I tried. It flips so much when I walking around and everything that I just kind of locked it so it's an up and down thing. So sorry. Maybe the next one I'll have it set up a little bit better. Yeah, so if you get this set, you're probably going to be just fine. You can do the bearings on your wife's car. You can do the bearings on probably anything that's got bearings that fall within this size range. I didn't want to buy a set just because I don't know the next time I'm going to do bearings. But for $28, now it's in the toolbox. If something comes up, I'm capable of being able to do it. So I want to thank everybody for tuning into this. I'm going to start packing some bearings here with grease, which is going to be rather boring. There's probably a video out there of a guy doing it in real time somewhere. So if you guys really want to know how to do it, I would just type in packing bearings with grease and see what they say. You're going to wear the skin off your hands, but it's totally worth it. The reason I'm doing these on this truck is because I noticed within the last 2 months of when I was actually still driving it that there was 3 times where I had to readjust these bearings, and within 2 weeks I had bearing play again. You just lift the front of the truck up a little bit, you can hear that click 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 of the hub moving on the spindle a little bit. So I would tighten the spindle nut down just a little bit and then back it off just a hair and put the cotter pin in, and I would drive it. It would drive really, really nicely. And then the steering would get wonky again. I mean, as you guys can see in what I've been doing with this red truck, everything on the front end was wonky, but this was a big contributing factor to it. So I said, if I'm going to spend all the time and the money on replacing the steering linkage and the control arm bushings and ball joints and everything, let's just make sure that our bearings are good too. So everything is going to be absolutely fresh and brand spanking new. So when I take this thing off the jack stands in a couple weeks, you know, I'm going to be excited. It should drive really, really nicely after a good alignment, and many, many miles ahead, hopefully, as long as I don't hit anything or it decides to blow the motor. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Subscribe if you enjoy this. Thumbs up if you enjoy it. And I'll tune in again for another video. I really don't have any, I don't have any plans to do a 5-lug conversion on either of my trucks. I'm sorry. I really don't. I mean, I would assume that you can get a Toyota hub off of like a Hilux or a Tacoma, 2-wheel drive, and then as long as you find the right diameter bearings to tap in there that match the spindle diameter, the outer spindle diameter for the hard body, that you should be able to do that. But I have not done it, so don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure that somebody out there will. And you know, for right now, as much as I've been modifying this thing, a lot of it's still doing, you know, I'm still just doing it a lot of stock pieces on that. Yeah, unfortunately, that's why we got to do these videos, man. A lot of information out there, but a lot of people learn visually. I'm a visual learner too. I mean, I can read all day long, but you know, yeah, someday if I decide to flip it over to a 5-lug, but all my wheels are 6-lug. I mean, I just bought another set of those AR62s. No sense in switching to 5-lug if I'm going to run 6-lug wheels. So sorry. If the opportunity comes up, obviously I will do it. But yeah. So I'm gonna end here. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day now. Take care.